This video is presented by Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC in Opelika. Get ready to smile.
Hello, baseball fans. You're watching On Deck with Tyler Redmond.
As good of a pace as the Braves have been on lately, the Phillies are on that same exact pace, and somehow or another, the Braves are going to have to find a way to close the gap, and that's easier said than done sometimes. So the question is, can the Braves come back from being 8 games back in the NL East? Of course, the obvious answer, I wouldn't run a Braves channel if this wasn't the answer. The obvious answer is yes, of course they can. Anything is possible. We're still only about to start July. It's still very possible. But remember the march back from 10.5 games back in 2022. That, of course, was something that a lot of folks didn't think would happen. And we gained some ground because at one point we were 10 games back, just like we were back in early June in 2022. But here we are, we're 8 games back. Is it possible for the Braves to turn things around and close that gap? There's 80 games remaining after today. We are past the halfway point of the season. Again, can they retake the lead and get a 6th National League East title in a row? What it's going to come down to is not what the Braves do against the Pirates or what they do against the Giants in the next series. What it's going to come down to is what the Braves and the Phillies do to each other head-to-head. Now, so far this year, the Braves do lead the head-to-head series 2-1. That series was in Philadelphia. It was way back in March, though, so these two teams are very different, one would assume. After that, I would say both, especially the Braves, though. Of course, they lost Michael Harris now. They've lost Spencer Strider since then. They've lost Ronald Acuna since then. So a lot of things have changed. The next series between these two teams, we will be covering that series or that finale of that series because I think it's a very important one. I've had that one circled on the calendar for a long time, and this is why. I think the path to taking the lead in the National League East starts with that series, right? Because right now, the Braves have 10 games left with the Phillies. It starts with that series. That's 3. Later in August 20th through the 22nd, you have another 3 games. Those are both at home. So this next upcoming series is at home. The following series is at home. But August 30th through September 1st, that's the final series of the year. It's 4 games, and it's in Philly. That one's going to be tough. No way around it. It's going to be tough. But there are 10 games left between the Braves and the Phillies. That is Atlanta's road to a 6th division title. We can sit here and we can talk about, hey, well, we got to catch up to them by facing whoever and beating them, pacing them. But they're keeping pace. There's no denying that. You're going to have to beat them. You're going to have to hit them in the nose and beat them head-to-head.
Are you ready to save big on a new Chevrolet?
Make your way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet. Choose America's #1 compact SUV, the Chevy Equinox, discounted up to $6,500 off. The powerful Chevy Silverados are up to $13,750 off. And the big Chevy Silverado 2500 HDs are discounted up to $6,000 off. Glenn Smith Chevrolet in Opelika.
Get ready to smile.
But again, that is Atlanta's path to a 6th division title, the head-to-head matchups. And I know that's easy to say, but let's think about it for a second. If you have a 3-game series and you take 2 of 3, you only get 1 game back. If you sweep it, you get 3 games back. There's a lot of ways this can go, and I'm excited to see what happens. And yes, the Braves certainly have to win every game. They got to win all of them. They got to win against the Giants this week. They got to win against the Rays, the Cubs, whoever it may be. But those series against Philly will be the reason Atlanta either wins the division or falls in 2nd in the division. It's going to be those series, and it always is. Remember back in 2022, what did it come down to? That last series against the Mets where the Braves swept. And maybe that's what it takes this year. Maybe that's what it is. And a lot of people, because that's the topic right now, a lot of people are probably out there asking, because I've heard it all year, is winning the division even worth it? It hasn't worked so far in the Braves' postseason campaigns against the Phillies. But what I do know is the Braves' goal, as it always is to win the division. We've heard Brian Snitker say it. We've heard players say it. Their goal is to win the division. And For them to do that, they're going to have to beat Philadelphia not only at home, but also on the road.
Are you ready to save big on a new GMC?
At Glenn Smith GMC in Opelika, you can own one of the best-selling vehicles in the USA. The GMC Sierra pickup is discounted up to $14,500 off. The roomy and comfortable GMC Terrains are up to $8,250 off. And the GMC Acadias with 3 spacious rows and seating for 7, discounted up to $8,000 off. At Glenn Smith GMC in Opelika,
Get ready to smile.
What about the postseason advantage? And I'm going to use that in quotes. What about the postseason advantage? What about that, right? Is it an advantage? We can debate that all day long. It's never a popular topic because it's polarizing based on what team you root for. I personally think that the postseason scheduling, the postseason bracket, the postseason format needs remodeling. I think it needs drastic changes. I think that, to be honest with you, the first series, the wild card series, should start with a doubleheader. I think you would eliminate a lot of the problems with just that. Maybe you go back to the one game, even though Major League Baseball will never do that again because they'll lose too much money. But maybe they could do something, right? Taking a week off for the team that wins their division or earns that spot does not help that team. It is not an advantage. And it's clear when you see a team in the Braves or a team in the Dodgers that wins 100 games in the regular season, and then they show up in the postseason and they look like little leaguers at the plate. They don't look like themselves. It is cut, paste, and it is clear to me that there is a problem. And baseball won't admit that. They'll want to see it play out year after year, and they're going to enjoy the fact that money's rolling in. They're going to enjoy the fact that, hey, we have more games to have advertisers on, have people fill up the stadiums, have people buy concessions. We have more, right? That's all they really care about at the highest level. But at the team level, at the competitor level, it's a thing. It's definitely a thing. I think 3 of 4 of the teams that earned the right to have the week off last year lost in that first round that they played in last year. And that's only 1 year. It happened the year before that too. So I have an issue with it. That's beside the point. We're not going to get into all of it today. It's never a popular opinion to have, to say that, well, or to make an excuse. You never hear a player make the excuse, but you'd be fooling yourself if you didn't look at the facts and say, yeah, maybe that's not the advantage they say it is. Trevor Bauer, I remember a few years ago, he got on here and basically vented about the potential week off in the future and said that's not an advantage. Players don't think it's an advantage unless they're the wild card team. So that is what it is. The other question I've seen is, hey, Tyler, should we just let the cards fall where they may? Don't really try to win the regular season and just take what we have, enter the postseason, and hope for the best. Well, I hear you, but you never want to tell your team to settle and then hope for the best after that. You want them to be able to go out there and say, we're winning today, we're winning tomorrow, and we're winning the next day. And I don't think you're giving the front office a lot to go off of if you just say, okay, well, this is the team we have, this is what we're going to do, we're going to try our best, and, if we make the postseason, great. If we win the division, great. No. The Braves are...
This video has been presented by Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC in Opelika. Get ready to smile.
Baseball fans, make sure you like and share this video and subscribe to this channel. As always, thank you for your support.